Welcome to the CWC Podcast with your hosts, David Selby, Andy Horton, and Savannah Smith.
Okay, welcome back to the CWC Podcast, your home for the latest news, rumors, and updates around the sport of chuckwagon racing. I'm your host, David Selby, and I'm joined by my co-host, Savannah Smith. Before we get into it, get over to chuckwagonchannel.com, subscribe, and relive the ride. It's $11 a month or $99 a year, and we've got the third season of the Great Wagon Race, Big Mules Up the Hill, coming out right now. This Saturday, we will have episode 3 of 7 that we'll publish 6 p.m. Saturday night. Don't miss it. And gosh, yeah. So you went home this weekend, right, Savannah?
I did.
Did you follow through on the whole thing? Like, did you wait and then like get home and watch it with the family?
That was the plan, but then we went and had dinner, and that did not happen.
Did you? You didn't watch it?
No, I didn't watch it. Which also, Brian, God bless, there's something going around. Brian was feeling real sickly. Sarah, his daughter, was also feeling pretty bad, and then she texted me Sunday, and she was like, "Yeah, I thought it was a sinus infection. I don't think it is, because now Blake and their boss Lane was sick." So we just enjoyed the time that we had where people felt good standing upright.
Yeah. Whenever I was driving down to this Buck Creek Chuckwagon race, I always have to say it slowly because Buck Creek, it's like, there's two things that go wrong for me. It sounds like butt, or it just sounds like it's one continuous word because it ends with the CK and then it starts with the C. And so I always have to like pause, small pause. But whenever I was driving down to the Buck Creek Chuckwagon races, I got on the phone with Dapple because we were talking about some stuff with the show, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I've had the flu all week." And what's crazy is like in like weeks past, it's been like one of her kids, and then it was another one of her kids, and now it's her. I feel like she's just had the flu going through her house for like the last month. God. And I've heard that for a lot of people. I've heard people up here in Missouri too that have been still getting the flu. And that's been something going around, I guess. I mean, I had the flu over Christmas, and yeah, what a year for the flu, I guess. I mean, I guess everybody gets it at some point or another, but...
Man, don't say that. I'm knocking on this plywood desk I have here. I don't even have real wood to knock on. I do not want to be sick.
Yeah, keep slamming water. That's what my mom always told me, and it's always done me pretty well. Even if I am sick, if I drink a lot of water, it kind of keeps me upright.
I am struggling to stop yawning, though. And I can't have more coffee. I've set a rule for myself: no coffee after noon, and I really only need 1 cup.
Oh, so well, then you gave it away. Everybody knows now. It's afternoon.
It is.
It is. We are recording on a Tuesday afternoon. It is almost 3:30 in the afternoon. We don't have Andy today. He had some stuff going on. That's okay. We were thinking about having a guest on the show, but we decided this week we were just going to go ahead and keep pushing a couple of these off. Next week we're going to have Riley Pillow on the show, and we're excited.
She's excited.
Riley Pillow, she is excited.
She's been asking us for months. Actually, she's been asking her mom for months. When am I going to be on the podcast? When am I going to be on the interview? And we're like, we got you. We got you,
we're
kiddo.
Excited. I am very excited to get Riley on the show, and it's just a shame she's not going to be in person because we'd all be getting hugs while we're at it.
I know. Nancy gave us a little fun anecdote that we're going to have to ask her about. She said that she has ADHD. And when Nancy asks her what that means, she has a very comical response.
Okay. All right. It'll be in the show notes. Yeah, so moving on, let's just talk about this Tennessee race a little bit. I was there. I was the only one from our team that was there. I did still get a little bit of help, which is kind of cool. Gotta throw a shout out to Troy, who was down there this weekend. So speaking of Courtney and all of them, this is Jordan Lee's younger brother, Troy. And he was a huge help, knowing that I was a little bit shorthanded. He went ahead and ran a camera over on the starting line. So any of the footage that you guys see coming from over at the starting line, that was on the back of Jesse and Roxanne Wright's flatbed that they were letting us set up there and shoot towards the starting line. And Troy was operating that camera. So it's always cool to get help from people just kind of out of the blue like that. And yeah, it was good because I feel like he's somebody that we'll be able to go back to. And he had expressed interest previously that he'd like to kind of maybe help out a little bit and get a little bit involved. And so that's pretty exciting. We're always just kind of growing the team just a little bit. But really good weekend. A lot of good things to talk about. But one of the things that sticks out the most that I want to make sure I get out there is that they raised over $8,500 at this event for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So, round of applause. It's always cool to see things going to a cause like that, especially if you're a parent and you got children and you just, if you've ever experienced anything like your child got a little bit sick or have just a little bit of trouble, it's like it hits so hard when you're a parent. And so knowing that children that are going through a hard time are able to get this kind of support from an event like a Chuckwagon race. So, big kudos to the Mayos for making sure that that was a piece of their first event. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how was your experience with this weekend and all the new things that they had going on?
So I rolled in Friday, and my first experience was I went into Dyersburg, which is about 30 minutes north of there, so I could check into a hotel, and that was a whole experience for me because I had booked it on a third party platform, not like through the hotel itself. So naturally, I'm not name dropping on this one. I decided I'm going to let it fly because I don't know if I want to give them any search brownie points if our transcript ever makes it into the Google web or whatever. But like, I booked it and I don't get to, it's like if you do it last second, you don't get the refund opportunity option, whatever. I was like, great, well, I'm gonna be there in 2 hours, so why would I need to cancel it? I'm not getting sick now or whatever. And I got there, and the first thing I see on the door of the building is, we apologize for the inconvenience because we're undergoing a remodel. And I'm like, that's why the room was a little bit cheaper and it looked like a nicer situation. So there's a remodel going on. I get in there. Yeah, they didn't have the internet working, and I needed that because I needed to get the episode for Saturday uploaded. And then this is just a me problem, I guess, but their fitness center that had the really nice pictures on the website, the fitness center was not open. So I kind of like to get up and like break a sweat or something in the morning sometimes, especially if I don't have my kids. I'm just like, sweet, I can run to the gym real quick and do that. And so that was just a sad situation for David. But rolling into Friday night, I get out there. Beautiful, beautiful weather. It was really windy this weekend, but otherwise it was like sunshine and just gorgeous weather in the low 80s. And it might have got a little hotter than that because it was so breezy. You were just never too hot. But the first experience I had going out to the Buck Creek ranch, if you will, was I could barely get off of the highway to turn into the event because the cars were backed up so far. And I was just trying to go to the rodeo Friday night, to get out there and kind of just start getting some general coverage. So I'm like, this sucks because I can't get off the highway and it's dangerous. But that is awesome if you're an event owner. You're like,
oh yeah,
that's a growing pain that you want to have, is that you're having to create more space to get people off the highway. It's like that Field of Dreams deal where you just see cars into the distance and they're all coming in because you built it. And they had a great turnout. I went ahead and got the drone in the air that night. So not to put you in a hard spot here, Savannah, but if you want to show that drone shot, it's this beautiful drone shot in the evening. And I probably shouldn't have been flying the drone because the wind was like 20 miles per hour. And it was just super comfortable out there, though. Really cool how the way that they set that up out there is that all of the campers and everything are like kind of just like, poof, there they all are. And I liked the way that looked from the aerial view because it gives you that true perspective of how many people are really there. And then the way that they had the track set up was cool too. But the rodeo area was great. It's always cool to kind of roll in and people are kind of congregating, enjoying that rodeo scene. And you hear that familiar voice over the radio, over the speakers. And I'm like, that's definitely Ed Remus. Sure enough, I get over there, say hi to Ed, and he sees me and he just blaring, Chuckwagon Channel out over the PA. So that was really cool. But that was, it was great. They had a great turnout. I could tell that the Mayos were busy, but they were very happy because people were happy and people showed up.
That is awesome. Oh, that is so awesome to hear. I've been seeing lots of videos on the different social media channels, whether it was competitors posting videos of themselves running or friends running. I'd also seen some drone footage that we would have shared Friday of just what the layout looked like. It looked beautiful. It looked really spacious.
Yeah, heads like little shout out to their sound guy Jason. He was the one that posted those, and yeah, he had some nice footage. I think that's who that was.
No, I think that was awesome to be able to have something like that, like an aerial view going out at the very beginning of their race, just to give people an idea of what they were pulling up to with this being a new race. But
Yeah,
I've thoroughly enjoyed watching our competitors post things on social media. I'm kind of living vicariously through them at the moment, because at that point I'd not gotten into our own race footage, so I could kind of see what had happened and who did what and whose horse got away and all the things.
yeah. And I have to just make like a quick shout out to like the whole, just the community of Chuckwagon racing fans and racers. I have loved seeing how much content has come out from people's own devices on this event. Nothing can promote it better than people organically going out there and just putting the content everywhere. It just floods it. It makes everybody feel like they're missing out on something. And that's the kind of thing that really promotes an event. You know, like we sit here and we're like concerned about how much content we can get out there because the pressure's on us to make sure that we help. But there's nothing better than people going out there and organically putting that user generated content on their own platforms, tagging the event, tagging the people that were there. You know, it's like if I had to say like what the pulse is on that event, that's one of the most impressive content outputs I think I've seen from an event outside of like the really big ones we go to. Like I was just really impressed by that. So keep that up, guys. It was a great start. And you know what? It kind of reminded me, and I've said this, it reminded me kind of like a couple years ago when I went to Calcutta for the first time, when they first had their first event. They had awesome weather and it made a big difference on their event. We had 70 something teams and it was awesome. You couldn't have asked for anything better. And I feel like I kind of was experiencing that again, kind of the benefits of having a lot of things kind of just tip in your direction a little bit. And I think that that's the case here. I think, you know, the weather is kind of where it starts for stuff like this. And so to talk about their track a little bit, the track was in a cornfield that had a lot of, you know, just dead and harvested stalks that were all over, but then they came out and they tilled that field and it kind of just softened everything up. One person would have said that there was like just like a really nice inch and a half of like soft dirt on top of really firm dirt, and they liked that. It's because you could slide around on it if you know to where you're not going to get stuck, but also it wasn't so slick that you're just like your feet aren't coming out from underneath you or anything. So it was almost like one person had also said it kind of reminded them of like a horse racetrack, like you know that you'd see in an arena. So that was cool. It just, man, you talk about just everything going right, and that was another thing that everybody was boot scoot and boogie around that track basically. So that was pretty cool. Really, really good experience on the racetrack. And then, you know, another thing, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, wind. Who loves to get hit by like 15-mile-per-hour winds all day? Well, when you have a track that's basically all dirt and you're getting quite a bit of dust coming up, that 15-mile-per-hour wind is moving it out of the way right away. Instead of it being, it's just like this lingering dirt that, you know, this dust that's just in the air, caking itself on everything. No, it's just blowing right out of there the whole time. So that was kind of nice.
Well, I saw a video of Mackay Stamps, and he has gotten tall. I feel like he's grown an additional half of a foot since we've seen him at the awards banquet. And if my eyes were true, he was on that red mare and they were flying.
Yeah, it kind of felt like we were rewinding into last year just a little bit. You could see him just anxious and raring to go, if you will, right there on the starting line. And I'm trying to remember what happened. He was competing. I think he might have been going straight across from Whitworth. Harrison? Am I saying Harrison Whitworth? Am I Ellison? Ellison. Sorry, Ellison. I think he was lined up against Ellison, and Ellison got out and got him on Sunday, at least from what I can remember. So we'll have to go back and show some of that stuff. But
I guess I
really,
saw the opposite day because it looked like Mackay just wiped whoever was behind him.
okay, yeah, that may be right. It might have been Saturday versus Sunday there. So we'll get into some of that stuff. We'll read up on some of those things here in a minute. Trying to think of other key takeaways from this weekend. I feel like every time we've been in Tennessee, because it's like Nashville country, it's like the culture of music is so good.
Mhm.
So you're really any of your acts, if you talk to, like, whether it was at Hurricane Mills or there or whatever, like if you're in that part of the country, I just feel like you're talking to people that like their standard is like, hey, we live around Nashville. Like, we're going to have really good bands.
Mhm.
Like, we have great bands. We have great people behind the production. The guy, Jason, that had been doing all their sound and stuff, he was an absolute rock star. And he never looked like he was uncomfortable at all. He was there on Wednesday, way ahead of everything, got it all set up. The sound was fantastic. It's the kind of stuff that just draws people in. I mean, we go to races where sometimes maybe the music or the concert isn't as big of a hype, and so people may or they may not go. But anywhere you could hear the music if you were anywhere on the ranch, basically. And so people were going and enjoying it. It was where everybody congregated. The vendor row situation was set up perfectly. You had the food trucks right there. You had the vendors over here. They just did a really good job with the layout. So again, just kudos to the Mayos and everybody that was involved with putting that race on. So pretty awesome.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, I'm sorry you weren't there.
I know. I'm really I think the biggest thing that I feel like I just drew the short end of the stick was the crawfish boil.
Oh yeah.
That you guys got to attend. That you got to attend. Liv Tuttle had sent me a message. I think Friday. No, it would have been Thursday afternoon because it was before you left the office. And she was like, "Yeah, we're having a crawfish boil. Come on over." And I was like, "Man, I'm not even gonna be in the same state. I wish."
Yeah.
It is that season.
Yeah,
I'm craving some.
Dwayne Lamb, who is hopefully one of our future track owners at some point. I know he's excited about trying to get something set up in the future, but he invited me earlier in the week. I think he shot me a text and just said, "Hey, crawfish boil over at our camp Friday night. Make sure you come over and check it out." And I said, "Hey, if I can get away from what's going on." No, it was Saturday night. I said, "If I can get away on Saturday afternoon or evening, I'll get over there." And I was like I was trying to figure out where they were camped at, and ran into Brad House. And I'm like, "Hey, where's Dwayne Lamb camped out?" He's like, "I think he's over this way." I actually need to go talk to him too. So I took Brad and we all went over there, and it was a big time. I mean, they did not hold back at all. And I shot a bunch of footage of it. So who knows, maybe that'll be in here too, but pretty good time. And I even got educated on how I should properly eat the crawfish. I've had crawfish before, but I don't know that I just kind of tried to peel it like shrimp or whatever, but there's an art to it.
There is.
And I got educated along with some other people who were guests there. So thank you to everybody that was there. Really like the Freight Train and BS Racing group and Bar LL, all those guys, they were all right there, and it was a good experience. So that'll be something I remember. Thank you guys. Let's get into some results. What do you say?
All right, I'm here for it.
I'm gonna let you kick it off.
So it looks like there were only 2 qualified times in the big horse rubber tire division. Bad Luck and Trouble, which that would be the Smotherman crew. Is that correct?
Yes.
I know at the very least,
yes.
Bear was a part of that. He has moved up with the big boys officially. Anyways,
yeah, and that's the same. Yeah, the Smotherman. They won it last year.
So that would have been Jake, Bear, Clint.
Mm-hmm.
They took home first place. Talk about hitting the scene running with this new team. Yeah. Freight Train took home second, which no surprise there. 46-inch Mules had a really strong showing with all 5 teams making a qualified run, and then Hickory Plains Outlaw coming out on top. It's another great team. another instance where that's no surprise to us because we see them up at the podium nearly every time, if not every time they show up at a race.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty cool. And then new team Ain't That a Mess, they came in second. I'm going to say that they are new. I don't recognize that name. I think we came to that conclusion last week before the race took off.
Yeah, and then jumping into some more of these small wagon divisions here. So Derek Hands, I feel like I kept seeing like Seth Whitworth up there getting awards, and I was like, man, what the heck, And so Derek Hands, they took home first place in the 46 and the 52-inch ponies. I think it's safe to say that Larry Derrick is kind of a little bit of a master in the pony area. Like he's rocking it. I feel like every year I just get a little bit more familiar with these teams, and I feel like what I see race over race is Derek Hands. They're always showing up with something fast, and then of course revisiting last year, when you talk about mules and you talk about what is there to run there. I think that we're at the start of a long run from the Mount Vernon Mulemen, and Talon Westner. He's got a bright future ahead of him. I hope that we can get more and more money in the chuckwagon racing because he could make a lot of it with what he's been doing. But the Mount Vernon Mulemen, they rocked it out in first place with the 52-inch mules, and then non-attached to the ACWA sanctioned stuff. He also took it home in the 4-up mules too later. Hit me on the buckboard stuff. What'd you learn there?
Man, we just have these good teams coming out on top. So Full House and Full Throttle Loca sitting first and second, respectively. It looks like Full House secured first place with a 0.77 second lead over Full Throttle. And then JD Pennington had to make a stove handoff mid-race both Saturday and Sunday, which that's a personal favorite of mine to be able to see. I love I love being able to witness a good stove handoff. It's just, it's real fun. It's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah, they got it done, and it was just funny to see that like Full Throttle's key to success to getting a qualified time this weekend was that they had to get a stove dropped into the wagon on the back. Like that was how it was this weekend. And kudos to them because they're one of those teams that has the nice big perfect loop, so that they're not having to just catch the
whole
ball.
Box. Yeah,
they're catching. They just have to like basically hand this loop off, and
if JD's close enough, he can just hand it straight over to Cindy.
Yeah, and it wasn't JD this weekend. It was gosh dang, it might have been who was outriding for them. We'll have to get back to you on that. We'll have to throw that up on the screen if we find it. But they had to have somebody else in there because JD was gone this weekend. Okay, so getting into big mules, Bad, Bougie, and Wide Open. Is that right?
Is that a new team or is that a combination of a couple of teams?
Yeah, I think it is like a combo because you've got Wide Open, which is the Mayos, and then you've got Bad and Bougie. And so, yeah, I think there's a little combination there. We're kind of trying to absorb all this year, you guys. Bear with us here in week one. Too Stupid to Stop right behind them in second place. And then not a lot of teams out there for Classic. I know Shannon Mayo, he was really trying hard to have a wagon ready to go. But with everything going on and some other holdups, they just were not able to get a Classic team in there. So it ended up being raring to go. In their first season here, they're coming out strong with a buckle. But Clint, outriding for BS Racing, he lost his horse at the starting line, and we know that BS Racing was running. They were moving around that track. So if you don't get it all right at the starting line, you're probably not going to catch up. Yeah, and that was the case, and so I know that from a standings perspective, just thinking a little bit long term here, because they didn't get a time on the weekend, they didn't get the weekend day money or however that goes, and they didn't get anything, so that's that just shows you how willing to run these guys are, which I respect that and I appreciate that, and I hope you guys keep doing it. Don't ever let up, because people want to see that. They want to see you run fast, and they could have pulled up and pulled something else out of their weekend, but they were there to run as hard as they could, and they're looking towards. I did talk to I talked to Justin Sipes, and he was like, hey, my goals this year are to win in the point standings for big horse rubber tire for sure. And he said, I'm eyeballing Clinton in the classic division. So
Heck
good
yeah.
for you guys. Okay. Well, okay. And before we get out of here, some of this might be repeat information, but we want you to see what we're putting on Western Sports Roundup on the Cowboy Channel Wednesday night. So if you missed it, here it is on Thursday and Friday when we put this out after the fact. Hope you enjoy it. This is what's going out to our national audience. This past weekend marked the start of the Arkansas Chuckwagon Racing season. And what better place to do it than the inaugural event, the Buck Creek Chuckwagon Races in Alamo, Tennessee. For those of you that don't know, in Arkansas Chuckwagon Racing, there are 3 players that make up a team. You got the driver, the cook, and the outrider. The driver starts in the wagon, holding the check lines, while the cook and the outrider start behind the wagon with their feet on the ground. The starter yells, "Cooks, load your wagons," and that cook throws the bedroll into the back of the wagon, jumps into the passenger seat, and then we're going to hear that gunfire. And then the outrider throws the stove into the back of the wagon, mounts his horse, follows the wagon around the barrel, and then they circle the track. That outrider, though, has to beat his wagon team through the finish line to have a qualified time. Last weekend's race was sanctioned by the Arkansas Chuckwagon Racing Association, and we had over 90 teams registered. Racers competed for a first place buckle across 8 sanctioned divisions and the first batch of points towards that season title. 15 points awarded to first place, 14 points to second, and so on. So let's get some results from Buck Creek. The big horse rubber tire division features 2 horses, generally quarter horses, thoroughbreds, or appendix, pulling small aluminum wagons. First place and 15 points went to Bad Luck in Trouble with a Sunday time of 53.18 seconds. The team was our 2025 state champions last year. In the 46-inch mules division, first place went to Hickory Plains Outlaws with a time of 101.15. Wes Roughton drives them, and that's CJ Burke in the outrighting position. This is a team we see place nearly every race they attend. For the 46-inch pony division, it's Derek Hands with a time of 51.31 seconds. Larry Derrick has been doing this a long time, and he's getting the most out of his stock. And no problem for their outrider, Seth Whitworth. In the 52-inch mules, we have the Mount Vernon Mule Men, driven by 18-year-old Talon Westner, our 2025 4-Up Mule National Champion, and of course Trent Parks at the outrighting position. In the 52-inch pony division, we're going to go back to Derek Hands. They take first place with a time of 47.16. He's making that job hard on his outrider, but fortunately, Seth Whitworth is one of the best in the game. Moving into a crowd favorite here, it's the buckboard division, a 500-pound all-wooden wagon pulled by 2 52-inch ponies. Day one's leader was none other than our 2025 national champion, Full Throttle Loca, with an impressive stove handoff mid-race. But on Sunday, it was a different story. It was the Full House race team with a 48.96 to take first place, getting that buckle. Now moving to the big mule division. It's exactly what you think. It's big mules, but with small wagons. And man, did we have a competitive field at Buck Creek. In first place, it was Bad Bougie and Wide Open. They took home 15 points and a buckle, beating out their competition by less than a second at a time of 58.18. Another crowd favorite is the Classic Wagon Division. These 1,000-pound all-wooden wagons are pulled around the long track by 2 thoroughbreds, quarter horses, or again, the appendix breed. You can definitely feel the rumble as they come around that track. Rarin' to Go took home first place, and of course, that #1 spot in the standings as we kick off a long season of wagon racing. Now to our youth division highlight. Ellison Whitworth from Derek Hands wins the outrighting division, as well as the youth ponies, ages 9 to 14. We've seen him run in 2025, and he's coming in hot for 2026. Next stop is Frontier Days at the Seven Springs Lodge, Tuscumbia, Alabama, April 25th and 26th. We'll see you out on the track. Thank you guys for joining us today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and relive the ride at chuckwagonchannel.com, and we will see you out on the track.
Thanks for listening to the CWC podcast.